Hello, I'm aMayesingGamer, and today we're watching some Overwatch 2 stuff. This has come out a few weeks ago, and I just have not had time to look at it, but today we are. So we're going over an in-game event that they had. We're also going over the new hero called Mauga, and then also the Blizzcon stuff. And we're not watching the live performance of this Lee Seraphim, because I'm assuming it's just all copyrighted. But if you want to go see that, make sure to watch that as well. But we're going to get into the videos. Why is Junkrat in here? November 1st. Okay, yeah, it's been a while. It's been like 23 days or something. Cool. Okay, now on to Mauga. You said tobacco. Oh no.
Sorry to keep you all waiting. But now that I'm here, let's have some fun. Yep, that's my name all right.
Damn. It's got two fucking miniguns.
Right here is Gunny. And she can light up the whole dance floor. And this one's Cha-Cha. He's a sensitive little fella.
Incendiary chain gun.
And when I fire them both,
Volatile chain gun.
trouble.
Oh, interesting. So you burn them and then you get crits.
Actual
Huh.
gameplay footage.
Oh, damn.
Going so soon.
Unstoppable charge. Cool. Oh, Jesus.
Don't tell me that's it.
Damn! Just takes it to the back. Cardiac overdrive. Okay.
For now.
Huh?
Here I come. Say quick, Kiki. We got him where we want him.
Cage fight. Infinite ammunition. Damn. That's cool. That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
So was I worth the wait?
Nice.
We're gonna have a hell of a time. Woo!
Nice. Season 8 on December 5th. Nice. Okay, so this is the origin story for him.
What a day. It's good to be alive.
I love these origin
I'm
stories.
going to let you in on a little secret. I wasn't always the friendly, carefree guy you see before you today. I used to take things very seriously. I never had time for
Damn. Fucking G.I. Joe.
But one day I realized
Okay, I was gonna say, are you gonna explode?
something had to change. I needed to work on me.
Uh-huh.
Now I've got a whole
Oh.
new outlook on life.
Yeah.
I realized that it's okay to put myself first. Found out that I have a knack for bringing people together. And I learned how to let loose with friends.
Okay. All the killers.
I work hard. And I play hard.
I play hard.
So, I only have one question for you. Ready to have some fun?
Sure. Cool. Nice. Okay, so this is the Blizzcon opening ceremony.
You wanted to see if there was more out there. Well, see for yourself.
Monkey!
I'm gonna kick every one of you in the face.
Mom! Do something!
I'll see you at the finish line.
Did you really think this would be a fair fight?
Oh my god. That was disgusting.
Yo, nerf this! Mama's got you!
I am him!
I'm in my widow era now. Wow.
Interesting.
And you out there, the fans, it's been a joy to share this experience with all of you. Thank you so much.
Come on. It's time I showed you something.
Nice.
Please welcome Overwatch Game Director, Aaron Keller.
Aaron Keller. Alright.
Hello, BlizzCon! Ever since we first revealed Overwatch in 2014, you have grown this universe into something truly unique and beautiful. Every single day, we see millions of players jumping into matches, forging new friendships, and showing off their skills. We launched Overwatch 2 last October, and it has been such an incredible year. Since then, you've been crushed by Diva's mech over 26 million times. Had more than 79 million lives
Nice.
saved by Baptiste, and played 65 years worth of prop hunt. I love prop hunt. The development of Overwatch is first and foremost focused on you, our players. We want our game to represent
It's funny.
this global community. From the release of our Samoa map, to our celebration of Pride, to our first tie-in Peruvian heroes, Lifeweaver and Alari. We also want Overwatch to recognize those focused on achievement
nice.
and prowess, and released our new progression system and the first set of hero mastery courses this year. And for those that just want something a little different, we've run April Fools and released a dating sim, an actual dating sim, Loverwatch. Listening to your
What?
feedback is important to us, and it's driven the team to look at changes to some of the core systems of the game. We've been hard at work on an overhaul of our competitive system, and we'll get into that a bit today and a bunch more over the course of BlizzCon. And there is so much more to come. We'd like to give you all a glimpse at as much as we're able to show you coming next year. And boy, do we have some fun things to talk about. So let's get into it. To share our first big announcement, I am honored to introduce the art director of Overwatch, Dion Rogers.
Sorry, I'm a bit excited. The energy is awesome in here. You know, Aaron and I have been working on this universe since before Overwatch had a name. Working together with an incredible team back at Blizzard. Many are with us today at Blizzcon. Creating such an incredible game with so many amazing people and seeing what it means to you all, it's meant everything to us. And out of all the things we work on, one of our favorites is to create new heroes. You know, Overwatch is full of big personalities, and it takes a special individual to really stand out. And the team has been working hard to make sure no one could predict who this next hero is. We haven't leaked any articles.
Oh, okay.
We haven't leaked a spray or two. And we've left 0 hints, especially not in our recent Samoa map. Now, who's ready to meet the newest hero?
Is it just gonna be the same introduction?
Sorry to keep.
Yeah, it's just the same introduction. Okay. We already watched that. Oh.
That's awesome. I love that trailer. We had a lot of fun working on it. It's amazing to finally announce Mauga. He was first introduced, you guys know,
Mauga,
4 years ago
okay.
in a short story, and he's been the subject of a lot of fun theories. Ever since that first introduction, fans have been
No
asking
idea.
when he may become a playable hero. We're excited. We finally have our first Samoan hero.
Samoan. Okay. Samoan.
Mauga, his name, it means mountain in Samoan. He portrays himself as this big, loud brute. However, this is just a facade. He's a cunning tactician, always one step ahead of his enemies. One of the core goals whenever we make an Overwatch character is that people see themselves in our heroes. We're always striving for greater authenticity and representation with each hero. And with Mauga, we got a lot of help, actually. Even his tattoo was created by an amazing Samoan tattoo artist named C.E. Lufau. Mauga's super fun.
Nice.
It was awesome. Mauga's super fun to play. He's easy to learn, hard to master, with what I like to call a brutal but cunning playstyle. We hope you love him as much as we do. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Join us later today for a Mauga Deep Dive panel taking place here at the Blizzcon Arena and online for people at home. We'll talk with the team that helped create Mauga and also how to best utilize his amazing abilities when he joins Overwatch in Season 8. Finally, we know Mauga's gonna be pretty awesome when he joins competitive play. But before then, some of the best players in the world are competing in this weekend's Overwatch World Cup. Let's check it out.
Legacy.
I don't think we
Legacy
saw ad
is
for
forever.
this.
All year long, teams around the world have battled, chasing glory, hoping to etch their homeland in the history books.
That is insane! He's still fragging like a madman!
Why is that?
5-man rampage! Oh, what? What? Oh, there we go!
Must be on
They've
their end.
tasted victory, they've overcome defeat, and all along, the hopes of their fans have lifted them up.
Absolutely beautiful!
And now, at long last, the Overwatch World Cup finals are here. And for the first time in 4 years,
Nice.
we're all together once more, back to where it all began.
Ugh,
Each team
that
can
was
see their
awful.
name on the championship trophy. The community has rallied behind them, and the wait is finally over.
I've missed you dearly!
The Overwatch World Cup finals start now.
Cool.
Please welcome Overwatch esports host, Zoe Gschwind.
Zoe Gschwind?
Wow. Fantastic to see all those
I would
memories
definitely
on the
butcher
big
that
screen.
name.
And we're here to make some more. What's up, Blizzcon? It's so great to be back here after 4 years with the Overwatch World Cup. This event has always been such a special event because it truly serves as a worldwide tribute to the beautiful and diverse Overwatch community. This weekend, we get to celebrate teams and players from around the world, each with their unique takes on the playstyles, their different personalities. We're going to see different metas emerge even. It's just very exciting to see familiar faces, big household names in the competitive Overwatch scene take the stage, form those star-studded lineups, Fearless, Super, Gushue, and the likes. But each year, we also get to witness new players emerging onto the scene, taking the spotlight. It truly is a special event for a special community, and I'm very honored and truly happy to be part of it all. Now I know that all of you here in Anaheim
Those
and everyone
seats
watching at home
look
is joining
so
us from
uncomfortable.
all over the world. As you can see, so are our players. Among them, a former 3-time World Cup champions, Team South Korea, and the only team that managed thus far to stop their reign, and that is the United States of America.
Yeah, Merca.
That's
Woo!
right. Well, I tell you, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. If you watch the group stages,
Good
if
for
you
us,
watch
I
the
guess.
first game today, tough competition ahead for Team USA. And if you want to find out if one of our former champions will remain victorious, or if one of the other 6 teams will seize their inaugural season title, make sure to join us. Not only will you be treated to fantastic gameplay, of course, no, you will also earn special drops all weekend long on the Play Overwatch Twitch channel. Now, we have a lot of amazing Overwatch 2 action on the horizon, and so much to play for our teams. We got over $500,000 on the line and counting, raised directly by all of you, our passionate and amazing fans.
That's not a lot for competitive
Yeah, give
stuff,
it up for
but
yourself.
sure.
Now, of course, the winning team will walk away with a big bag, but this year, each and every single player out of the 43 teams participating will be earning a share. And this is unprecedented in Overwatch esports history, and it would not be possible without
That's
all
even
of you.
worse.
So once again, thank you so much.
That's even worse. 500,000 divided by 43 people.
So, tomorrow
We talk
night,
about costs
we will be
of,
crowning
like,
the 2023 Overwatch
travel,
World
food,
Cup champions.
sleep.
And you can catch all the matches and all the action live in Hall B, as well as, of course, on stream. I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you as well. And now, please welcome back Aaron with a few more things to share on the game side.
Thank you, Zoe. Mauga is awesome. And the World Cup matches all weekend will be so much fun. But Overwatch has another thing happening here at Blizzcon. Earlier this week, we launched a new limited time game mode and special skins as part of an exciting collaboration with Le Sserafim, one of the biggest K-pop groups in the world. Everyone can jump in game right now to take part, as well as check out their brand new music video for Perfect Night. And in honor of this collaboration, Le Sserafim will take the stage and perform in the arena tomorrow after the community night ends around 6 p.m. Pacific. Working on partnerships like this, or what we did with One Punch Man earlier this year, are incredibly fun. Yes. They provide us, both the dev team and you, the players, a chance to experience some of our favorite universes and artists through the unique style of Overwatch. And next year, we have even more of these for you all to geek out about. Sadly, we can't reveal what those are all just yet.
Cool.
But maybe there are some other things coming in 2024 that we could give you a hint about. The Overwatch team has never had such clarity of vision when it comes to the future. From direct feedback, we hear what you love and want us to focus on. So, who wants to see a few of the things we're working on for next year? We are creating a brand new core PvP game mode, Clash. In this new competitive mode, there are 5 points positioned in a row. The center point starts as the first objective, and the teams battle back and forth over the map, pushing into enemy territory or defending their own. Once a team captures all 5 points or reaches the maximum score, they win. Our initial Clash map is a tribute to a location we showed at Overwatch's first Blizzcon. And it's one of my personal favorites. They say cherry blossoms
I was not there for that.
are a sign of rebirth and rejuvenation.
Oh,
in 2024,
okay.
a rebirth of
Never
one
mind.
of the
I know
original Overwatch
I know what that one
maps
is.
in order. Within the Clash mode, we are returning to the home of the Shimada clan with the new Hanamura map, Hanaoka. Additionally, we are working on overhauls to some of our most important in-game systems. Overwatch is a highly competitive game, and in early 2024, we'll release a reworked version of our competitive system with all new competitive rewards. And with Seasons, one of the team's goals has been to create themes that speak to so many of the cool and awesome things that we all love. Next year, you'll experience Eldritch Horror, Egyptian mythology, witches, and even a mirror universe where heroes become villains and villains become heroes. And of course, Overwatch is nothing without its heroes.
That sounds fun.
Mauga is the 39th hero in Overwatch, and in 2024, we'll be releasing 3 more, and we want to give you a glimpse of 2 of them. A new damage hero Venture is coming in Season 10, and a support currently codenamed Space Ranger in Season 12. And this is just scratching the surface of everything we have in the works. Join us tomorrow here and online, where we go in depth on all of this in our What's Next panel. It will have more information on Clash, the reworked competitive system, a closer look at Space Ranger, even early gameplay footage of Venture, and so much more. And lastly, for the first time ever during a Blizzcon, not only is our next hero playable in the Overwatch Hall here in Anaheim, but all of you at home can play Mauga all weekend in-game, including Quick Play, going live right after the BlizzCon opening ceremony concludes. Yeah. We know you'll love him just as much as we do. Thank you all. We'll see you in-game.
Awesome. All right, now we'll go in depth. Right, this is Mauga deep dive, and then the what's next is after this. They're starting with the origin story. Okay. Origin story and here. Nice.
What's up, everybody? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm excited. It's great to be here. But, you know, working on our Overwatch hero takes a full team, and I'm thrilled to introduce some of the amazing people who helped bring him to life. We have Kyunso, our narrative designer. Alec Dawson, our lead hero designer. Foster, senior test analyst. And the amazing Rakan, our senior character artist. Okay.
Cool.
So we probably talk about Mauga or any panel for ever, but we only have like 45 minutes, so let's just jump right into it. Kyunso, let us know a little bit about Mauga's backstory.
Of course. As Dion mentioned during the opening ceremony, people have been fans of Mauga or Manga for a very long time. We've released 6 heroes with Overwatch 2, and for most of them, if not all, people have been speculating if it was going to be Manga. But here's a very quick introduction of him for anyone who doesn't know who he is. He was originally introduced in 2019 in the second Overwatch short story, What You Left Behind, written by Alyssa Wong. It's a story that follows Baptiste, and Manga makes quite the appearance.
Don't know that.
Manga and Baptiste worked for Talon, and they were pretty close friends before Baptiste left. And Manga made an immediate impact.
They're kind of like frenemies.
Yeah. I mean, look at him. Look at that sly, self-satisfied grin. He's just a guy who wants to have fun. Woo! Yeah, that's right. But be careful. Behind his grin, there's always a threat. And he uses his big, jockey personality to hide his cunning side. One of my favorite lines in that short story is when he just goes, "It gets real Shakespearean up in here." He's our first Samoan hero, and we worked really hard to get that right. Throughout his development, the team worked with 3 cultural consultants, and they also helped us refine the Samoa map. And beyond the cultural consultants, we also worked with the brilliant Samoan tattoo artist, C.E. Lufau, to get his tattoo just right, because they have such a huge cultural significance in Samoan culture. It represents their heritage, their past, present, and future. So we knew we had to get this right.
Yeah, it was
Cool.
It was interesting when we first started to dig into the tattoo. We had done some drawings where Omnics were tattooing on Mauga's back, and once we started to work with CE, he was like, a tattoo is something that a human transfers to a Samoan.
It's a sacred experience.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he had given us his feedback that the depiction of a robot or something without a soul, basically transferring a tattoo, was not the right thing. And so this was what's so fun about meeting these different people, the different culture experts. They really worked hand in hand with the character artists and the narrative designers, and we had fun figuring this out. And Mauga is such a fun and unique hero. This includes his lore, the art, the design history, his abilities. As you all have either played him already on the show floor or at home, because you can play him right now, you should get you kind of get what you're actually experiencing with him. So, to talk a little bit more about the abilities, Alex, you want to break it down what his gameplay is like?
Yeah, let's talk about Mauga and sort of what he brings as a tank to Overwatch. His style gameplay, he can either charge in alone or he can go with his team, right? Because he's this big, high threat level who sustains through dealing damage. And that's how he's really unlike a lot of the other tanks is, he has this passive that actually keeps him up as he deals critical damage. So it's one of the things where he's constantly in the fight, he's brawling, he's destructive, because that's the way he is keeping himself alive and in the fight. Another thing he does is his guns are hit scan. When developing Mauga, the team really wanted to look at a tank that could counter Pharah or Echo and have an ability to actually contest them while they're in the air from afar or even up close. So when looking at Mauga, there was a few things the team really wanted to get right. And talking with Josh Snow, our lead balance designer and the point designer for Mauga, he talks about the guns being core to this hero. Mauga is one of those kits, say like Widowmaker, where the gun comes first and then all the rest of the abilities follow. Along with his weapons though, we also wanted to make sure we could have abilities for a character of this size. Mauga is huge. He's huge in game, as you may have already seen. He's the biggest hero that we have in the game so far. So what do you have to do to compensate for that size? He's a big target. And then finally, it was about getting this personality right. He's aggressive, he's destructive, he's in your face, but he's also smarter than he looks. And that really started with the character that narrative and art were telling.
I think he's about 7 feet or so.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Biggest character we made so far. And I mentioned earlier that his name, Mauga, means mountain in Samoan, so we had no choice but to make him big. And as you guys touched on it, he has this I really like his playstyle. It's very, it feels brutal, but there's a lot of strategy behind the approach. And Overwatch heroes aren't just about their abilities. We take great pride in their personalities too. In the short story that you mentioned, published around summer 2019, and then we suddenly released Sigma later, if you guys remember. And actually, Sigma was we envisioned him as Mauga at first, and as we started to play with these psychic abilities and the different powers that this character that would eventually become Sigma, but we intended it to be Mauga. It just didn't feel right.
He was another scientist.
Dude, you know, like Foster was there when we were trying out a bunch of abilities, and it just, Mauga wasn't the guy, like I think you mentioned, he doesn't psychically throw the rock at you. He picks the rock up and throws it at you. And so we decided to pivot during that time.
Yeah, so these are both tanks, right? But as we developed the tank kit that became Sigma, we kept coming back to Mauga's personality.
Does not do
He's
well
this big guy,
at being a tank.
He's smart, he's very aggressive, and even if he had the ability to psychically throw a boulder at you, he wouldn't. He would pick it up. It's a show of force to pick up a boulder and hurl it at someone. And then along with that, in Sigma's kit, he has his barrier. How does a guy holding two giant guns, named Gunny and Cha-Cha?
Going after Cheddar again. Oh, wait! Okay.
Leave it. Leave it. Leave it.
So he has the incendiary chain gun, which ignites the enemy, and then he has the volatile chain gun, which deals the critical damage to the burning enemy. The ultimate is the cage fight, which is that barrier that traps yourself and the enemies, and then you get unlimited ammo. You also get overrun, which is the charging and launching, and you're unstoppable while doing that. Then cardiac overdrive is where nearby allies take reduced damage and heal by dealing damage. And then a passive thing is gaining temporary health when dealing critical damage. And then the role is tank, which reduces knockbacks, less ultimate generated by healing and damage received, and then increases base health.
From a gameplay perspective, that wasn't really working out, so we kind of drew that back, and we released Sigma. We pivoted to Sigma there. And then for Mauga, we just went back to the drawing board and thought more, how can we nail down this personality type? How do we make the hero he's supposed to be and not kind of force abilities on a personality that it doesn't really fit with? And so we developed that mentality, but that physicality, and that was in tandem with ability design and then also with art, where we looked at, okay, how do we represent this giant of a man? And it came down to giant guns.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, it was really, that part was subverting expectations and didn't necessarily make sense for Mauga in particular, right? But Rakan, I think the guns, you worked a ton on them. Do you want to go expand on that?
Yeah, something that I really love about working on these heroes is how we almost challenge each other and push our different teams in new ways. Mauga is super fun, but that's only because the team making him that way. How his design has changed, his story has evolved, and seeing his abilities be refined, it's a full team effort to line these pieces up.
So let's get into his specific abilities. He has these massive chain guns, Gunny and Cha-Cha. Two of my favorites. Alex, what do they bring to the fight?
Yeah, so he has these two guns, but unlike other dual-wielding heroes, such as Reaper, each one does something different, and they can also be fired together, right? So let's watch the video to take a look at these in action real quick.
Nice.
So you have his incendiary chain gun, his left quick, that sets opponents on fire.
Oh wow, that does a lot of damage.
To set the opponent on fire, so they'll be in a burning state, where they become vulnerable to his right click, his volatile chain gun. And when you deal damage with that, it deals critical damage. This is pretty important because whenever Mauga deals critical damage, whether it be through volatile chain gun or through headshots, he actually gains temporary health as well. So this is a part that we really wanted to get right in its development, where there was this mini game between both of the guns. It allows Mauga to play at actually different types of ranges. Mauga can play really up close, rail on both guns at the same time, or he can be a little bit pokey sometimes. A little bit of left click, a little bit of right click, and get to that rhythm that can actually deal a lot of damage.
And that on fire ability, where he lights someone on fire, is actually really unique for our game because it also works in tandem with Ash's dynamite. If you light a target or a bunch of targets on fire with an Ash on your team, then he gets that crit damage across all of them as long as they're on fire. So there's a little more cohesion between hero selection now than there used to be.
Damn.
And that's something new that we've done. This also, as you mentioned, works with his passive, his Berserker passive. He gains bonus health from all those. So if Ash lights up the entire team, you can go crazy getting your extra crits and your additional health and everything. And it's really amazing.
Yeah, that's what Mauga's really using to keep himself alive in a fight. You know, he wants to make sure he gets that critical damage, set opponents on fire, and then right click to get the bonus health.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know your intention.
The fire passive was kind of a really interesting development issue we had to work around. Because adding fire to Mauga's kit, which is a really cool idea, it added a lot of challenges visually to the game. So artistically, there's a lot of people on fire now in the game. And with so many visual elements, it would be asking even more people's systems, the game engine, to possibly 2 different heroes are setting people on fire. These 2 different visual, we need to figure out how to kind of separate the 2 so that you knew who was doing what. This also complicates things for players that may also be colorblind from distinguishing what types of fire damage would be a little bit more trickier and could lessen their experience. By combining all this together, we put our heads together and we came up with a really fun pairing mechanic that isn't overpowered but could be really fun to play with. It's like a nice bonus.
Yeah. And if you're all wondering where the silly, silly names of Cha-Cha and Gunny came from.
I am wondering.
You did not? It actually came from just joking around in team chat. I think we were all agreeing that Mauga is the type of guy to give his guns pet names. One of the top contenders was Lefty and Righty, but Alec here didn't really like that. So it sounds really stupid, I know, but we just took the first 3 letters from chain gun, and made it Cha-Cha, and Gunny, because duh, it's a gun. And the team really liked it. And Rakan here just threw the ball out of the park, and he actually implemented the names into the guns designs themselves.
So speaking about Lefty and Righty, I mean Cha-Cha and Gunny, being that he has 2 weapons and they deliver different types of damage, it was really interesting challenge to get that look just right. If you look at the earlier concept, you'll see that his weapons looks different from the one that we have now. Well, the concept looked great. Once we put that in the game, it just didn't look right from the first person angle. So then we had to go back for the concept, rework them. And fun fact about these guns, they are the biggest guns in the game, but they are also the biggest guns in the game. So,
nice.
You know, for Mauga. I want to say a huge shout out to Mauga Strike Team. I know you guys are out there. And especially Jeff Mianowski for the awesome work that he did on the character.
Yep.
And
And,
oh my
also
God,
for the tech
it's bigger
team,
than Tracer.
John Curran, who did an incredible job with adding new technology to Mauga, which I'm going to say some big words now, so focus with me. Mauga has the first fully automatic muscle system in his body. We've never done that before. So while he's moving his arm, you see the bicep. I mean, don't look, zoom in here right here. See how the bicep? All of that, Mauga got it automatic. So again, our tech team is just doing incredible work. And if you look at this slide, it all started as a joke.
Damn.
These guns, I bet they're bigger than Tracer, right? And then I just put this scene quickly together. I'm like, yep, they are definitely bigger than Tracer. So technically, Mauga's running around holding 2 Tracers like that.
That's why they're orange, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is our new scale. How many Tracers is it?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to make guns this big again, but you know.
Here you can see the before and after, like how we had to adjust the barrel size. So it was just right in the 1P because once we put them in the game, they were blocking too much from the view. And I know you guys love the whole thing to be clear as possible. So we fixed it. And if you think about like Tracer and Reaper, they have 2 guns, right? But Mauga's gun is, I would say, a little bit bigger than these guns. So that's why that issue showed up when we did these guns, and we just edited it, and hopefully now it just looks perfect, and you guys will love it.
And beyond his guns, his ability Overrun is also quite fun.
Nice.
See a video of it in action. As you can see,
just
he charges
charging.
forward and he lands in a huge stomp, launching
There
his
you go.
opponents
I was
in
gonna
the
say.
air. This, I think, perfectly
Except my
Sit. Sit. Sit.
Hello, bud. Welcome back. We're going to continue where we left off with the Mauga deep dive.
encapsulates Mauga's personality.
During Overrun, Mauga is actually unstoppable. He cannot be CC'd, you can't sleep him, you can't boop him, you can't stop him from getting where he wants to go, because he's this big guy who just needs to get where he needs to be. So once he starts going, he's going. Get out of his way and prepare for once he stops. Also, when he lands on an enemy, as you can see here with Reinhardt, if you are precise and land directly on an enemy, it's a brief stun. So if you've got a Cassidy preparing his ult and you want to stop that, you can charge right in and land on him, and that's a stun. It'll stun him right out of his ult.
So hacked. Yeah, it's nice. It has a little bit of
Crazy.
skill expression there. It's one of those abilities that was really important for Mauga that we had to get right because he is this big body. So, you know, if he's charging at you, it's really easy to CC him in that way. So adding Unstoppable here allows Mauga to get where he wants to go, get in the fight, rail down on both chain guns, like hold both those buttons down and deal a lot of damage. But this ability in particular went through quite a bit of iterations. There was one version where Mauga would run up and launch the enemy behind him. I think a lot of the kit at the time was Mauga was an anti-air tank overall. So he was dealing critical damage to any enemy in the air. So you would throw them behind you, you'd turn around, you'd actually use Sigma's Rock as a combo back then. So yeah, this ability in particular, a bunch of iterations, and I really like this version that we ended up with. You know, it is something that is forceful, allows Mauga to get in, and the stop at the end was something that came in rather late in development, but it was just icing on the cake to an already great ability.
Also, if you're curious about just avoiding it, compared to Reinhardt's charge, this can make the hairpin turn in Circuit Royale. So good luck avoiding it by going around a corner real quick.
Cool, Reinhardt. Cardiac Overdrive. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Mauga's second ability here, Cardiac Overdrive. When thinking about Mauga's defensive capabilities, we wanted to match his personality and playstyle. You know, he's destructive. He likes to get in. He likes to deal a bunch of damage. We'll get the scoreboards later on today during your Mauga games. There's going to be a lot of damage from Mauga in particular. But how can we capture those things with the way Mauga sustains himself and also make him, you know, help his team? The role of a tank to actually lift those allies up a little bit too. So let's take a look at Cardiac Overdrive here.
Yep. When you activate Cardiac Overdrive, Mauga and his nearby allies receive damage reduction and receive healing based on how much damage they do. It's a big lifesteal aura that gives your team the window to turn the fight in their favor. It pairs well with other heroes that have high damage output and are able to move with the aura. Heroes like to get in the mix. If you think about a Reaper double dipping with Cardiac Overdrive with his own lifesteal, that's good. That's super scary. In this video, which should show up anytime right now,
I think we have a video queued up for it as well. You'll see Soldier 76 will be gaining some health right here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you look at Soldier HP as he's shooting with the Cardiac Overdrive, you can see how it's healing it up. We visually needed to find a way to let you know that you are getting that aura. So on the screen, we added a burning effect. It's really important to find that balance, communicating to players that is going on without overloading the screen with too many different things that can either be distracting to or use up computer resources.
Yeah, this one went through quite a few iterations as well. Many of the early renditions of the ability were quite selfish, actually. He had this adrenaline meter where by dealing damage you gain movement speed, and then you could consume some of it to actually heal yourself. And then that ended up becoming his Berserker passive. So a lot of that came in where it's like, hey, Mauga still wants some self-sustain in there. Another version that we tried left a pull on the ground instead of traveling with Mauga. But you'd be confined to this space, and it kind of fought against how aggressive Mauga wants to be. You know, he really wants to use Overrun to get in there, and just deal a bunch of damage, be destructive. So by putting what that ability was, ended up on the Berserker passive, it freed up Cardiac Overdrive to be something that you could use for your team. And with how it works now, you know, encourages Mauga to use it, get in with his teammates. This big window of opportunity. Characters like Mei and Reaper really love this ability.
The sound design of this ability is worth shouting out as well. When you initiate the ability, you actually hear the sound of double racing heartbeats because leaked fun fact, Mauga has 2 hearts. He received a cybernetic heart during a pretty intense battle, and then later on upgraded his organic one. And the sound team really hit it out of the park. It's such a visceral, powerful sound. It really makes you feel powerful in the moment. Yeah. And actually, you can see heart canisters in the Samoa map in Mauga's room for his, regularly cybernetic upgrades. And of course, alongside his, we can't forget his shark slippers, because Mauga likes to relax in style.
I need a pair of those.
Yeah, thank you to the environment art team, because they always take my silly ideas and just run with it without questioning me.
So, speaking of heart canisters and shark slippers, that brings us to his ultimate, Cage Fight. So, for his ultimate, Mauga deploys a barrier, and along with it, as you can see in the middle, a little totem that traps everyone inside that barrier with him. So, any enemies that are in the location where he is, it isolates all of them with him, for him to be able to take them on 1v1, 1v3, 1v5 if you're feeling spicy. But it isolates these targets by putting a huge barrier around him, which means the rest of the team might be locked off for them, and it keeps them inside, which can prevent them from getting where they need to go. So the biggest challenge when developing Cage Fight was keying into having players understand what this ult does and how it works. And so we developed it with these chains that are very visible and hold you in place, so you know you're trapped, and you know you really need to
I wonder if you shoot the totem, does
yourself against this man who's coming at
does
you,
it actually break?
And we have a video for that. So as you can see, when he deploys it, the Reinhardts are chained with him within this barrier. He can unload on them. You also might notice that he has infinite ammo during this ultimate, so people are trapped in short range with you, and you may as well just hold down both of your buttons at that point.
Yeah, it's an ultimate that can be quite versatile, depending on the situation, the team composition, the state of the battle. A lot of the times, you really want to get one target in there, isolate them from the rest of their team, try to burst down a support. But sometimes, I think we've seen a lot of playtest people that go and they want to trap the whole team in there, right? I think there's already some combos online that people are discovering. If Mauga traps the whole team in there, Lifeweaver can pull Mauga out, but the rest of the enemies stay in that zone, stay in the cage fight. So there's a lot of things you can do here. Sometimes it's also just a giant barrier. It can just be this big barrier in the clutch because it has a bunch of health, quite big, takes up a lot of space.
And recently someone said Mauga is starting a fight he has no intention of losing, and a big part of that is knowing when and where to start that fight. So playing as Mauga at the lower level, just trapping people with you is a really good thing. It feels good, but at the higher levels, knowing when and where to deploy that to keep the tank from getting back to the point, to trap supports with you so they can't help their team, to trap a specific hero so that their supports need to decide if they need to jump in this barrier with you or not to try to defend them and protect them. You wind up with a lot of these cases where based on your comp and their comp, you can make some really interesting, fun decisions about how you should use this ult.
Yeah, and this was an ability that we actually tried previously as well. There's a bunch of iterations for other heroes at one point, right?
Yes, this was actually originally D.Va ult. Way back when we were developing D.Va.
Questionable version as well.
Yeah. Oh no, the D.Va version was actually a giant sphere that shot lasers at everybody inside of it. And we didn't go with that. It didn't feel good for that hero. But we never throw anything away, so we worked on it. There's been a few different iterations over the years, and with this one, I think we really nailed what we wanted.
Yeah, one of the most difficult things to get right, I think recently we tried this for Junker Queen as well at one point. One of the most difficult things to get right was the shape language of, hey, or the communication going on here where you're in a barrier, but then you're also stuck there. So we tried some things where it was a physical wall, actually, instead of a barrier to sort of communicate that. But then the chains came in, and that was really the difference. And I think the strike team and everyone working on Mauga knocked out of the park to finally get that one.
Surprisingly, this is the one time that solo ulting someone is not overly frowned upon.
Wait, he's not saying you should do it.
Yeah, and for those of you playing him, keep an ear out, because if you trap only one enemy, there might be a fun little Easter egg voice line.
Yes.
And before we finish up here, I do want to talk a little bit about, Mauga and where he fits in the game, right?
Right.
So Mauga, we envision him as being in a lot of different comps, similar, a lot of different rush comps, similar to Reinhardt or Junker Queen. If you think about heroes that are going to enable him, think about heroes like Lucio that can really get him into a fight fairly quickly, or even someone who could sustain him. Mauga's this big body. He needs a lot of healing, right? So maybe someone like Lifeweaver can help him out and actually keep Mauga alive in that fight. And then tanks going against him. He is a tank that relies on dealing damage to keep himself alive. So if you think of who can prevent that, tanks like D.Va, tanks like Sigma are definitely ones that have a good chance against countering Mauga.
That's awesome. Well, as you guys can see, the team really put a lot of love and care into these heroes, but Mauga feels extra special. We really went that extra mile to make sure he was just right. But before we leave, I wanted to talk with the guys just really quickly. What has it been like working on? What has meant to you working on Mauga?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just been an honor to work on one of the most anticipated heroes of Overwatch 2. The narrative foundation was so strong. It was just so much fun and a privilege to just build upon that. And I think we all sort of remarked on this when we were talking with all of the Samoan cultural consultants. They were all just so joyful. They had this joie de vivre. And we were all really inspired by that. So I think you could really see it in the hero. He's just a big guy. He wants to have fun, and we really wanted to instill that part of the culture into the heroes.
Awesome. Alex, he's finally out.
Yeah, I'm very excited. People are playing Mauga right now. That's incredible. But I think one of the biggest things taken away from Mauga's development is seeing how the team took the time to get Mauga right. At one time we talked about Mauga with Sigma. We also switched Mauga for Matra to have more time on Mauga in particular. And it was just the team taking the time to make sure that this hero in particular came out in the best iteration possible. So shout out to Josh No and the rest of the Mauga Strike team for what we're going to release in Season 8.
Oh, and Foster.
Applause. Season 8.
Josh No.
So,
thank you.
So one of the things I really love about Overwatch heroes is how big and bold and over the top they are. Their personalities as well as, abilities in a video game. And Mauga, I think, really nails that kind of big, bold personality that I love in our heroes. He's out there, he's open, he's big. And when we nail that really well, they become charismatic beyond the kinds of people they may actually be. So the previous hero that did this for me was Junker Queen. Junker Queen is this big, bold personality. Even though she's not the greatest person overall, you really connect with her and her personality and how big she is. And they're, what? I love Junker Queen. Have you seen what she does to Omnix?
And Rick, oh, sorry, you.
So, I think Mauga also nails that, where despite what he does and his work with Talon and the kind of person he is, he's so big and lovable that you just really want to connect with him, and you do, and you enjoy playing him as a hero, as a person, as much as a tool set that really works with you in gameplay.
Awesome.
Well, I gotta say, Mauga is probably one of my favorite heroes for now. Design-wise, I love it. And getting to work on his guns and just seeing the process of how they started till the end, how all the challenges that we got and how we just, got through all of them and we got the final designs. That was just I will never forget that experience. And his personality, as Foster said, is incredible. I love him, and I need to know his workout routine, obviously. Look at that guy. Yeah, it's been an incredible journey working on this here, for sure.
That's awesome. And yeah, for me, I kind of mentioned earlier in open ceremony, whenever we make an Overwatch hero, we really want people to see themselves in our hero. This guy looks like someone I know. He looks like me, or his abilities are super fun to play. And I think we really nailed this with Mauga. And Overwatch in general is this globe-trotting adventure. You're traveling the world, you're meeting these different characters, these different heroes, and we're trying to hit every culture, represent everybody as best we can. And I feel like the effort that went into this one, it just was next level. So you guys, super awesome. And thank you to all you guys for joining us today. And have a fantastic weekend. And before we go, sorry, don't miss tomorrow's What's Next panel, where we'll be showing a bit more of the heroes coming after Mauga, actually, with Aaron and friends. And my last thing I love about Mauga is I love his guns. Not just these, but Gunny and Cha-Cha. And speaking of Cha-Cha,
What is that? Nice. Okay. So then it's the what's next.
Good afternoon, everybody. Our next panel presentation will give you a glimpse into the future. Here's Overwatch What's Next.
Hello, Blizzcon. It's hard to believe that we're already more than halfway through. Blizzcon is an event that I wish could last the whole week. During yesterday's opening ceremony, Aaron showed off a few things the team is working on. It feels great being up here with these brilliant people, working on all of the fantastic things coming soon to Overwatch 2. I'd like to kick things off this session with a quick intro. I've been Overwatch franchise GM since November 2021. While I spent most of my first year as executive producer of Overwatch 2, I'm now focused on guiding Overwatch at the franchise level. Way back in 2013, and early in my Blizzard career, the company made the decision to move forward with a project codenamed Prometheus. I remember sitting in the room that day and seeing the look of wonder in the eyes of everyone around the table. It wasn't about numbers or dev schedules. No, the magic in the room was created by imagination of the adventures to come in the Overwatch universe. I had a similar feeling again at Blizzcon in 2014. I sat in the crowd at opening ceremony, and I literally held my breath as the announcement of Overwatch approached. And as that Overwatch logo came up at the end of the first ever cinematic, the love in the hall felt as close to tangible as I've ever experienced. Since then, we've shared Overwatch as team-based PvP in the original game and now in Overwatch 2. And we also shared stories about our heroes in our cinematic pieces, comics, and short stories. But there are more stories to tell and brand new experiences, big and small, to share in the future. As GM, I'm leading the exploration to push the frontiers of Overwatch and to reach beyond. But today, we're very excited to talk about the cool things coming to Overwatch 2. We're going to show you stuff that's very much work in progress, and perhaps tell you things that would make marketing nervous. But we really want to give you as much visibility as we can into the future of the game. Before I hand it off to my teammates, I have some high-level context on where we're taking Overwatch 2 and our goals for the next year.
Oh?
We're focused on giving the millions of players in our game each day the very best PvP experience we can.
Okay.
While we'll be mixing in PvE events and modes and progressing storytelling, our main goal for Overwatch 2 is striving to make PvP gameplay more rewarding and more fun. For today, our intention is to focus primarily on how we are aiming to improve those elements of the game that we know are important to so many of you. To go through it all, we have members of our fantastic team here. I'd like to hand it off to Game Director Aaron Keller to introduce them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aaron.
Thank you, Walter. And hello, BlizzCon. Yeah, so we are excited to share as many of the exciting things that our team has been working on as we can. I'm Aaron, and I am joined by our lead character concept artist, Daryl Tan, game producer, Monica Lee, associate art director, Peter Lee, and senior system designer, Gavin Winter. Okay, so let's kick things off and get into it. Peter, can you talk to us about Clash?
All right. Hello, Blizzcon. I wish I have a Chris Metzen voice. What up, Blizzcon? Focus. All right. As you can see, I am super excited to be here and share some of the content that we prepared, especially for Clash map. So before I jump in, let me share a cool video with you guys. So can we play the video? All right. Is this map looks familiar to everyone? Cool. Yeah, Hanamura is one of my favorite map. We will talk more about that, but before I jump in, everything we are going to see today is very work in progress. And as a matter of fact, we were making a lot of changes even this week also. So please look at this screenshots and videos and concepts as that inside of your mind.
That big building in the back looks pretty familiar too.
I think that looks awesome, and we'll talk more about that. Yeah, so our original 2CP maps were absolutely gorgeous. However, due to challenges we had with the 2CP mode, we had to remove some of those iconic maps, from our rotation, including Hanamura.
That's a cool screenshot.
They're beautiful, lots of beautiful maps in our game. Yet Hanamura in particular has a special place in our heart for many reasons. Let me share my story. When you are trying to create a world that no one has seen before, there's a little bit of uncertainty and a lot of question, as you can imagine. Am I doing it right? What is the world that we are trying to build, Aaron?
That's a great screenshot.
And as what Chris Metzen mentioned yesterday, sometimes very epic thing can start with a small heartfelt moment. And this is the perfect example. I still remember the day that I created this concept. I was walking down the back alley of the Japan street with the Google map, and I got obsessed about a small mom and pop store, and I loved it. And I was thinking, yes, let's expand this world with our lens. It was a magical moment that I cannot forget. Just like that, Hanamura was one of the first locations that really made a team feel, this is it. This is Overwatch. Yes, we can build this world. Our vision of this universe instantly became clear. So after we retired some of those iconic maps, we have wanted to find a way to bring them back, because Hanamura is loved and known to our players and to our characters. Also, there were so many stories that we had developed around this city, right? So, now with this new Clash mode, it was our perfect opportunity to bring our Hanamura back. However, the big question was, how can we do this without making it feel artificial? Considering we did not want to remove the original location from our game. Instead, we wanted to expand the world because identity is so important in our game. So we made a new section of Hanamura, a street right next to the original map. And we named our map Hanaoka, meaning flower hill. You can picture the image, right? When you play this map, you can even see some section of the original Hanamura, the map in the backdrop. As you can see in this screenshot, there is a famous Rikimaru ramen shop, and you can see the gate right behind it, right?
We all know what that gate is.
That's a famous choke point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you play this game, you should be able to tell where you are roughly. During this process, we also made a few new assets that can hint at the stories of Shimada clan and Hashimoto clan, also Kiriko's yokai group, and many others. So as an example, what you're seeing on the screen, the tiger represents Hashimoto clan, and the dragon represents the Shimada clan in our story. So we created this new wall painting, so subtly melting the story into our environment. I don't know if you can feel it, but every step and decision we made for this Hanaoka map was pretty exciting personally as a fanboy. And I hope this map also makes you excited as well.
Yeah, that joy that that joy that Peter and his team have put into the Hanaoka map really is infectious. And we're very excited for players that loved Hanamura to re-experience it, and for players that are new to feel that wonder for the first time. All of our maps are these beautiful works, and Hanaoka pushes that even further. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Clash, it's the third new game mode that we've made for Overwatch 2. The third new game mode we've made for all of Overwatch after Push and Flashpoint. I think it's probably important to go into a bit of why we even make new game modes for Overwatch. We think it's really important to always be developing new maps, and we put out several of them every year, but each time we do it, when we build a map for a known game mode, one that we already have, we can only make so many changes to that map. Like an escort map, it's always going to have 3 sections, and we use really hard corners in those to provide choke points for the offense to get through. We try to provide as much variety in those, but we really can't make something completely different until we start working on an entirely new type of objective, entirely new types of game modes. Like if you look at something like one of our escort maps like Dorado, and then you compare that to something like our Flashpoint map like Surabasa, you can see those are very different levels. And they provide different, a different type of gameplay experience too. There's different strategies when you play on different types of game modes. There's different heroes and team compositions that you might want to pick. So we think it's really important for us to continue to do that. I don't know how long we'll continually make a new game mode every year, but we're not at the point where we think we ought to stop yet. And so let's talk a little bit about the history of Clash and the history of 5CP, because Clash has 5 control points laid out in a row. This is not the first time the Overwatch team has tried to make a 5CP map. We originally started making it for Volskaya. Volskaya Heavy Industries started as a 5CP map. Our early prototypes were of that, and we had 5 control points laid out in a row, and originally we called it Iron Star. These images right here were pieces that Peter did a long time ago as we were working on Iron Star, and I think you did these when we were on Project Titan. before Overwatch, right? Yeah, how old are these images, do you think?
I don't exactly recall, but I like it. It looks cool.
It's like maybe 2010 or something like that. And so we even had 5 CP maps on Project Titan that we were doing. And we even had a variant of it that was a 3 CP map. And when you look at 3 CP, where there's like a point in the middle and one on each side, it's almost like a symmetrical version of Assault, or what the community would call 2 CP for Overwatch.
Holy shit.
I'm assuming most of you know what it is. If you're new to Overwatch 2 and didn't play the original game, 2 CP was a game mode where there was an offense and a defense, and the offense would try to capture 2 control points in a row. And we had a lot of issues with 2 CP that we were never really able to solve. And the 2 biggest ones, they're related to each other. The offense sometimes would just get stalled out at the first choke point in an assault map. And the way those maps were designed, because there's only 2 objectives, we really favored the defense from a level design point of view. But sometimes the offense would make no progress in the map, time would run out, they would lose. It felt like the match had like no story to it, almost like nothing even happened over the course of that game. And on the other side, sometimes because Overwatch can be a game that snowballs a bit, the offense would get an early pick, they'd win a team fight, instantly take the first point, they'd all have their ults, run to point B, wipe out the enemy team, and then like win the whole game or the round if it was competitive, and they could do all of this in under a minute.
30 seconds sometimes.
And yeah, in 30 seconds in like the most extreme examples. And it just felt like on the defense, you had like no opportunity to respond to that. Like the answer was like, you shouldn't have one person die very early in the match, you know? And it's like, it didn't work. So we spent months and months trying to fix it. And we never were really able to come up with something that worked that didn't require us to completely rebuild some of those maps. One of the things we did try was we like greatly expanded the cap time for those control points. It's like over a minute to take them some of the time. There was some promise there. It was a lot of fun, but the way those maps are built, defending a point from the defense never really worked. The map geometry didn't really like let that happen in like a fluid way, but we kind of always kept that in the back of our mind. So when we started to develop Clash, we thought of some of those experiments because we knew the community had a love for Assault, a love for 2CP, because when it played right, it was pretty amazing. Like I really loved Assault. And so we started thinking of a version of it, maybe it's not a successor, but at least some of the mechanics were inspired by 2CP. And so we started working on Clash. And so I can get into a bit of the rules and the way Clash works. That, I guess, was the preamble for the way Clash works. I was a history major. I always go into the past before I get to the future, sorry. So there are 5 control points. And at the start of the game, each team owns the 2 control points that are closest to their side of the map. And the middle point is the neutral control point. That's the one that both teams are going to fight over. For all the people here at BlizzCon, you can think of it as BlizzCon. Point C is the Overwatch World Cup. The arena over here is point A, and the Warcraft section is point E, all the way down at the other end of the halls. The center control point is going to unlock, and both teams fight over that. When one team captures that, a new control point is going to unlock in the direction that the offense is moving. If you've played other multiplayer games with 5 CP, typically those have 2 control points active at any time. We don't do it here. We just have 1 at a time. Every time we've tried to make more than one objective active for Overwatch, the game just doesn't work the same as it does. Like some of the magic is gone. The magic of Overwatch is 2 teams working together for a common objective, and the heroes sort of like relying on each other to do that. In this example, point D would unlock. If Team 1 were to take point D, they would then point E would unlock. And if they were to actually go all the way through and capture point E, then Team 1 would win. It doesn't happen that often. It's very defensive favor at that point. It even takes longer to capture as the offense. And so typically this match starts moving back and forth, and the offense will push a certain distance, and then they won't take the next point. The defense will take it, and then the defense starts moving. So it almost feels a little bit like 2CP, but you're moving back and forth across the map. Each of these points, when you take one, your team will score a point. So we do have a maximum score in there. Sometimes 5CP can devolve into these hour-long matches where nobody's able to push all the way through. That's our early out in this phase where you get to a certain score. We're still tuning that right now, but you'll hit a certain score, and then your team will also win right there.
Aaron, would you say it's our sweatiest game mode yet?
Some people on the team say that this is like the sweatiest version of Overwatch because you do move back and forth a lot. You have a lot of moments where there's a lot less chokes in a map like this. We don't have the same sort of chokes that 2CP did. So there's a lot of free movement back and forth, and there's a lot of cool strategies you can have. You know you're going to take a point sometimes, and you start pushing your team forward to start just getting a positional advantage on the next one. It can be really fun.
Yeah, something I really like about this process that we were developing this game, like not like we wait a long time before we finalize anything. Like we were just like quickly building it and blocking it out and put it in the game and test it and get the feedback and fix it and re-put it in the game. So that kind of collaboration between our team members was very meaningful and in a way very similar to the fast sweetest game mode, the fast paced the game mode. So
yeah, it's like really interesting to think about. Like the team really came together for this. Our team has grown a lot over the years. We have a lot of new people on the Overwatch team, and this is the first time that we've actually created a new game mode from scratch with all new people on the team. Gavin Winter was a part of it. The level designer on it, Morton, he wasn't on the original Overwatch, and so these people like really came together. And it's like this new team, this new group of people that were able to pull this off. I'm like so proud of all of them to be able to do something like this.
Cool.
Okay, so that's Clash, and we're going to talk a lot more about PvP changes coming to the game and heroes. But before we get into that, Monica, can you get into some of the PvE updates that are coming?
Yeah, super excited to be here chatting with you guys. PvE encompasses so many different things, and we are working on some really fun stuff for next year. For most of it, we don't have any specifics that we can share just yet. I know I'm a monster, I'm sorry. But it's really awesome to see how invested people are and what's going to happen with the Overwatch story, both canon and non-canon, with the heroes and the universe. The team has received some really great feedback from players that we're going through, and we're using all of that to inform how we develop all of the cool stuff coming next. But for right now, I'm really excited to share some major updates coming in Season 8 for Hero Mastery. The thing that I really love about Overwatch is that it isn't just one thing, there's something for everyone. For folks that wanted a solo challenge and leaderboard experience, we introduced Hero Mastery this past September. It's been so much fun for us to see players in the courses trying to top their previous scores and get better, so we're really excited to expand the roster of playable heroes.
Scores go to the 100th of a second.
That's too OP. Coming in Season 8, we'll have 5 new heroes joining Hero Mastery. Those will be Diva, Echo, Genji, Lucio, and Mei.
Cool.
Plus, we're also excited to have leaderboard resets go live with this update, and we'll also be introducing replay bookmarks, so you can rewatch parts of your gameplay and look for areas to improve your score.
I really enjoyed Hero Mastery. Personally, as being a support main, I don't support mains. As a being a support main, I don't get to play the tank too much. Like I wanted to, expand my hero roster, but I didn't have a proper introduction to that role. So Hero Mastery was the perfect opportunity for me to jump in and like practice my skill. And especially when I was doing that with run art, like it was such a great moment for for me to learn the a control of charge, when to charge, how to stop, like how early should I stop. So that was just the very fun moment that I had with Hero Mastery.
Are you a top 500 Reinhardt now?
Getting close.
Close. Soon. Keeping with the philosophy of having something for everyone, we don't want to limit the Hero Mastery experience for folks who want to play with their friends or maybe meet new ones in game. For me, Overwatch has been a social game, and we're really looking forward to bringing that into Hero Mastery next year with Hero Mastery Gauntlet. This new 3-player co-op mode features the Hero Mastery Art Kit, bots, and all new gameplay that is focused on enemy waves and tower defense. We have some work-in-progress footage up here where you can see the 3 Gauntlet towers, which are our objective points. The goal for the team is to defend the towers from attacking bots. There'll be exploding bots, flying bots, all sort of varieties there. And it's really fun to challenge juggling the defense of 3 towers, the different kinds of bots, and different ways to power up. And so as a result, you want to make sure that you're defending really well in your towers, getting power-ups on all of them. There's airstrikes that you could call in if you're being swarmed by bots, or you could generate healing for the entire team.
This is awesome.
Cool.
As I just shared, I had a lot of fun with the Hero Mastery, right? But now you can play Hero Mastery plus I'm a big fan of a tower defense mode, and you can do that with your friends.
Yep, and there's leaderboards for this too. So there's going to be a crazy race when this one comes out. It's really, really hard too. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I played it recently, and my 2 of my towers just went down immediately. Gotta practice some more.
I had a really funny moment on Monday. We were doing a stream on J3's stream, and someone in the chat asked, would we ever do a tower defense mode? And I said, that is very interesting.
Interesting you asked that. When Gauntlet ships, we're gonna have heroes rotate seasonally, and we're also gonna have new custom rewards from challenges. We really want each game to feel highly replayable and really unique, so we're really excited for you all to jump into Gauntlet with your friends next year.
It's going to be super, super fun. Okay, so we've heard just a little bit of feedback on our competitive system since we did a rework last year, and we've listened to all of it. It's important for us to hear what you all have to say. So we've been hard at work on a pretty big overhaul to it, and Gavin is here to talk us through it.
Thanks, Aaron. First, I want to tell you about our approach to improving competitive play. So, as most of you know, we have some big problems to solve. We're not transparent about how we construct our matches, how your rank is determined, or how our rewards function. Most of you have all the golden weapons you'd ever want, so giving you competitive points doesn't feel great. And since we launched Overwatch 2, we've had issues with the way players are distributed at our highest and lowest ranks. But thankfully, though, these problems make our goals pretty straightforward. We need to put more feedback in the game about every aspect of competitive that we can. We need new rewards and improved clarity around how to get them. And we need to address the pain points, things like how bad it feels to be on a loss streak.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We've heard that a lot. We've definitely heard that a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to have 14 losses.
No. So in Season 9, we're introducing a variety of changes to competitive play. First, we're removing the requirement to get 5 wins or 15 losses to get a competitive update. So, loss streaks would guarantee that you were going to rank down, so what's the incentive to keep playing if you're on one? In its place, we're adding a new page that makes your rank more transparent than ever. Let's go. We call this the competitive overview. With this new system, your rank will update after every match, win or loss. The progress bar at the bottom shows exactly how much your rank increased after this win. You can see that ranking up to Plat 5 is on the right, and ranking down to Gold 2 is on the left.
And when you hit that, so when you win a game,
I know
and
that was a huge
it
problem.
hits Plat 5, you Immediately rank up to Plat 5. You're not waiting extra games to do something like that. It just happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So we call those green arrows below that progress bar rank modifiers. They show why your rank changed the way it did. So, since we want to be as precise as possible. So these are explained in detail by the information button on this page, but an example here is streak. This one means you ranked up even more because you're on a win streak. We'll talk about that smaller progress bar in the top right in a moment, but as you can see at the bottom, we've also added a link that takes you straight to the final scoreboard.
Yeah, and there's also a rank progress. It might be hard to read. It's a little bit small on the screen, but it's right above that bar right there. And right now it says your rank progress is 85%. So you can see you're exactly 85% of the way to the next rank. There's a lot of people, when we get feedback, a lot of people were asking us to bring SR back. It was the system that we had on Overwatch 1. And we did have a few issues with SR, and maybe like two of the biggest ones are one, it was a very arbitrary number to just say you were 2374.
Arbitrary. 2374. Everybody knows what 2374 is.
And it does, like we recognize it does take on meaning after a while for people that are playing with it. What we're hoping here is that you're Gold 1 and you're 85. You're 85% of the way through Gold 1, and that actually has more meaning for the vast majority of players. And also at the same time, the difference between a Gold 3 and a Gold 4 sometimes is it's like less than 4 wins away from each other. And so that wasn't necessarily conveyed very well through the SR system. We really like having these divisions in there, and we really want people to know precisely where they are in that division, and so that's the reason we went this way. Obviously, we listen to feedback, the system can evolve over time, but this is where it's at right now.
Yeah, thanks.
Looks good. No, it's really good. Mostly every rank game.
Yeah, so when we launch Season 9, we'll also be resetting ranks and bringing placements back to Overwatch 2. So this isn't a full MMR reset, but it will give you a chance to make a big change to your rank because your placements games will count for a lot more. We want to do that every year, along with some big changes to our systems and hero balance. We want to give everyone a chance to earn a new rank because we'll also be redistributing players at all ranks. Those of you in Bronze 5, Silver 5, and Silver 4 know how hard it can be to rank up in our current system, and we can fix that with the redistribution. Those of you in Grandmaster 1 also know that we have more Grandmasters than we ever did in Overwatch 1. So, as part of this redistribution, we're also adding a new rank above Grandmaster called Ultimate. We want to update our competitive rewards every year too. So in Season 9, we'll be adding Emerald weapons.
Oh, Emerald.
Now this art's not final, but hopefully it gives you an idea of the types of rewards we want to add each new year.
Green.
I need those emerald Zenyatta balls. They look so cool.
Me too.
Oh my God.
So when we add Emerald weapons,
you need
we'll
more
convert
jade,
all of our current competitive points into a legacy currency that you can still spend on golden weapons if you want.
Fuck, another
to show
currency.
These off, you'll need to earn competitive points in the new
It's like
season.
the
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting about this, I love the new redesign, but there is this annual cadence that we are trying to bring into the competitive side in Overwatch. And I know when we first launched Overwatch 2, the seasonal reset and placement was very controversial. But this is going along with a whole set of additional rewards, a redistribution of players across the ranks. And we think that initial set of placements now is worth it to get everything else that we've got. And it's also like a really exciting moment for players to look forward to on an annual basis.
Yeah, every 2 months was probably way too often. Yeah. So going back to solving our problems. We know that the competitive challenges page was really confusing, and that was the only place to see how to earn our rewards. So we're removing competitive challenges and building a new page to show progress towards seasonal rewards. We think this page is a much cleaner way to show rewards and the requirements to get them.
Oh, cool.
You may have also noticed that smaller progress bar in the top right again. Instead of our old end-of-season challenges that rewarded competitive points based on your final rank, wins and losses both progress you toward big payouts of competitive points. But just like our current weekly challenges, wins grant a lot of bonus progress. And another small improvement we're going to make is showing the range of ranks in the match instead of just the average. You can see that in the top left.
Oh, I see. Nice.
We're also planning a lot of bigger changes after Season 9, like with grouping and competitive, for example. We want players to be able to play with their friends, so we'll be removing most of our current grouping restrictions. To do that, though, we have to rethink how we make competitive matches. So if you're a Diamond player and you want to group with your Bronze friend, we'll allow that, but we'll classify your group as a wide group. You'll only play against other wide groups. And we'll try to find groups with a similar shape as yours. So if you're a Diamond tank and your friend is a Bronze support, we'll try to find another Diamond tank and Bronze support for the other team. No promises. As you probably guessed, the existence of wide groups also means we'll have narrow groups. And this is great as a solo player because you'll only ever play with narrow groups or other solos. So we expect to see some big improvements to match quality for solo players.
Awesome.
I'm kind of excited because I used to play Overwatch with my kids, but they're teenagers and they just started getting better than me. And my oldest ended up becoming masters, and we couldn't even group together anymore. So now with this new system, he'll have to find another excuse to not play with me.
Yeah, literal skill issue. Another win is this gives us fewer Smurfs. Since the only way to avoid our current grouping restrictions right now to play with your friends is to create new accounts. But you won't need to do that anymore.
Cool. Okay, so that's the update on the competitive system. And you can't play comp without heroes. And I know we teased a few heroes in opening ceremony yesterday. And Daryl's team has created some amazing concept art to show for some of those heroes. Take it away.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Mauga.
Creating such a visually unique and beautiful game like Overwatch 2 takes a lot of time and iteration. In the Mauga Deep Dive panel yesterday, the team went through some of these processes, from coming up with a hero idea, to drawing the concept art, to the modeling, then building their abilities, then actually putting it all into the game. We have a bunch of hero ideas and concepts always brewing. And during the opening ceremony, Aaron teased 2 of these heroes, so let's get into them. Next year, we'll be releasing 3 new heroes: a tank, a support, and a damage hero. Internally, we are already testing all 3 of these heroes in their various states.
And more. We're testing more heroes.
And more. And more. Always more. Even though they're already undergoing testing, we aren't ready to show all 3 of them just yet. The hero coming in Season 14 is far enough that we're going to keep that work to ourselves for now. I have to stress that a lot can still change this far out, including abilities and even their in-game models. But here is what we can show you. In Season 12, the next support hero will be released. Currently known on the development team by the codename Space Ranger. She will be our first hero for the Mars colony.
She's so cute. I love her so much.
Thanks, Monica. We aren't quite ready to show her in action just yet, but we do have some early concept art of what she currently looks like. Yeah. I won't dive into her kit either, but she's a highly mobile support hero who has quite a bit of vertical mobility. To that end, she has no lack of thrusters on her suits and all over her boots as well. And when we say that things are still changing, Space Ranger is a perfect example. Her gun has already changed from what we're showing here. Not only that, but as production moves along, we will inevitably run into other elements on her design we'll have to iterate on. When we fully reveal her for Season 12, we can talk about all the changes we made to her from the early drawings that you guys see over here to the final model and the final concepts.
Nice.
So, Space Ranger likes battling her foes from air and space. How about a hero now that battles from under the ground? In Season 10, you'll get to play as our newest damage hero, Venture. They are our second and a half Canadian hero. People often forget that Farah is half Canadian, myself included.
I'm half Canadian too.
The fantasy we're going for with Venture is that of a swashbuckling archaeologist. They have an unquenchable thirst for past treasures and hidden secrets, and will go any which way to get to them. And for Venture, that way is often down. Venture uses their powerful drill to dig through the map to attack the opposing team. Because this drill was so complex in its moving pieces, right, and has a lot of cylindrical geometry, Cajun Wang, our senior concept artist who worked on Venture, decided to employ 3D modeling early in the ideation phases, even for the weapon. And now I'll toss it over to Aaron to show you guys some of how this weapon works.
Yeah, okay, so we have some early gameplay footage of Venture from a recent playtest. Here we go, this is the loading screen. We always do those kind of like silly little portraits. One of our artists, Taki, does those before they're ready.
I see. Cool.
Burrowing underground is kind of amazing, so they can like burst up out of the ground, do additional damage, has vertical mobility to it. They move around the map really well. This weapon is amazing. It shoots a projectile out a set distance and it explodes right there. It's really nice to be able to hit people even around corners with that thing when they duck out of the way. The dig also, it's like the most important part of this is it makes you invulnerable. So it's like you can't be hit when you're underground. It's a great way to escape. It's also a great way to get in close to players. You pop up like that, and then you have a dash as well. And so the dash, you can do it in the air. You can dash underground if you want to when you're moving. It's all around just like a really, really fun kit to use. We have this idea or this goal that we try to do with heroes on Overwatch, and I think we're able to hit it on DPS heroes a little bit more than some of the other ones. But as much as we can, we just want it to be fun to hit the buttons. You know, like move around a space and just kind of have like some joy there. And Venture, I think, is one of those heroes where they just are fun to hit the buttons with.
Hey Aaron, to expand on that point, when I was playtesting Venture, I was literally, just keep hitting, the button, to borrow in and out, without any reason. But it was feeling so snappy. Just a big shout out to our animation and FX team to make this happen.
Yep.
So this felt good.
Now we didn't show the ult. We're holding that till season 10 until we fully reveal the hero. So there's more to come. These are just some of the things that the team is working on. There's so much more. And next year, we'll like have a lot more things to talk to you about, a lot more things to reveal than we could have just fit here within 45 minutes.
I want to say that improving the overall play experience is really important to us. And this goes beyond just game modes and new heroes, but also how everyone engages with the game's meta systems. So one last thing I want to mention that I know people are really interested in is a set of changes and updates to the Battle Pass. An initiative we're working on for next year is a redesign of the Battle Pass. And we're deep in the process of working through this, which means we aren't ready yet to go through the details. But I want to give you a small glimpse of what we're thinking. One goal is to offer players more agency when it comes to the Mythic Skin reward. Let me talk through a couple of specific cases. Players progressing through the Premium Battle Pass today are able to unlock the latest Mythic Skin each season. But what if you don't play the hero with that Mythic Skin? It's going to make the Battle Pass a little less exciting to you. In a different case, you miss the chance to get Cyber Demon Genji because you weren't around to play that first season.
Yep.
What we want to do is to address both of these scenarios by giving you the option to earn any single Mythic Skin we've ever released when you play through the Premium Battle Pass.
Nice.
But beyond this, we're aiming to make play in Overwatch 2 more rewarding with a total set of changes to the Battle Pass. We'll have more to share on that next year.
They make it free.
Some of what we presented may change between now and release, but we wanted to be as open as possible on what we're developing, planning, or even thinking about. And this doesn't even touch on the longer-term franchise plan, but that's really a discussion for another day.
Well, good for them.
Finally, I want
Finally
to say that
being
everyone here
transparent with shit.
represents hundreds of employees on our team who care so much about this game and this work, and we can't wait to release it all. Thank you, Blizzcon.
Wow. Well, competitive and Battle Pass sounds good.
This team is made of like so many talented, amazing people, and this is just a small glimpse of everything that we're working on, and even a glimpse of things that we didn't talk about today, like an image of a Peru map that's coming in the future that we also started this presentation off with, and there was, I'm sure people will talk about it online in the next few days, some other Easter eggs in this presentation that kind of give hints at some of the things that are coming next year as well. So thank you everyone so much, and we'll see you on the streets of Hanaoka.
Nice. All right, well, that was BlizzCon. See you in the next one.